Alright, hey guys. Today I wanted to do a little something a little bit different. I'm going to be discussing a article from IGN. You'll find the link in the description. It's a former Highguard developer reflects on the disastrous announcement and launch. We were turned into a joke from minute one. I kind of wanted to say some things about this because I've seen the trailer, I've seen all the reactions online. I haven't played it because I'm not interested in the game. I'm not interested in hero shooters at all. The last hero shooter I played was probably Overwatch 1, and I only played the very beginning of it, and it was not interesting to me. But what I do find interesting is some of these statements in this article about. Before I get too far, I'm going to say I've been interested in gaming almost my entire life. FPSs aren't really my thing, except for back when Halo was around. I played a lot of Halo and Gears of War. The first and second Gears of War. That was probably my most recent FPSs. Oh wait, there's one more FPS I forgot about. Well, I guess Ark Survival Evolved. In PvE, you can play it as a first person, but I think the current form of the game, third person is the most popular for PvP, and PvP is the most popular form of the game at this time. That's regrettable in my opinion, but okay, we're gonna get back on track here. This article. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to discuss was this first paragraph where it says they were turned into a joke from minute one, largely due to false assumptions about $1 million ad placement. This is talking about the ad at the end of the Game Awards in December. I think that this probably isn't entirely correct. I don't think it was really about the $1 million ad placement. Okay, so let's say you've got that ad. It's like $1 million. $1 million. 1 million. I think that if it was a good game that people were actually excited about, nobody would care about how much money was spent on the ad or where the ad actually was. The audience would be super excited for a good game regardless. I think what really hindered it in the current day is the tone of the trailer and as well as the art direction. The preppy high school art direction. Let's see, let's go art direction. It would be art direction and tone. And the art direction isn't even that, it's not bad, it's just not, the art direction isn't that bad. It's just, it's not as popular as it once was. It's fading in popularity. So it was really good, and now it's not. Nobody really wants that art style, that art direction anymore. It's like a preppy high school sort of art direction. Like everyone looks like they could be a high school teacher in like a private school or something. Let's say high school art direction. The current art, people want darker art. They're looking for darker themes and darker art. I think that's largely due to a reflection. So high school art is out. Like nobody wants this art, like high school themed direction, like this preppy. I go to a private school. I have a really cool teacher, and all my teachers are cool, and they all look great, and they're all super popular and rich and whatnot. Whatever stereotype you want to put on to like this high school art direction or private school. Maybe I could just put private school. Whatever. Okay, you get it. Yeah, everyone wants darker themes, darker aesthetics. Everyone wants darker aesthetics in their art direction and their themes. I think that's largely due to a reflection in our current real world. this type here, this type up here, this one worked when everything was peaceful. There was no wars. The economy was great. Everyone was making a lot of money for the most part. Then COVID hits, and then all the shit hits the fan. And we're in current time. The economy sucks. Everybody's trying to shit on each other, and it's just the world's turning into a darker place. The employment, the job market, everything just sucks right now. I'm currently actively looking for a position, and it's not a good process. Yeah, so I've been looking for a position for months, and I've gotten a few a few interviews, but I haven't landed yet. So I'm just kind of floating along, hoping to well, not really floating. I'm going out there and I'm trying to find a job. So this is like a reflection of current times. Sorry about my writing. I'm not very good with this mouse and keyboard on Paint. I should probably next time I'll do something a bit different, but for now I'll just stick with this because I'll get my point across some way or another, and then next time I'll do it a little bit better. It's all about learning and improving for next time. So this is, they want darker aesthetics because it's a reflection of just current times. This other one comes off as tone deaf in some ways, because it's, and I know it was started years ago, and they couldn't really, well, I mean, some people could probably predict that the world was going to go to shit about 3 years ago, but most people probably just go day to day, paycheck to paycheck. I know that I did for a long time, and now I don't even have a paycheck to paycheck. I just day to day, basically. So this comes off as tone deaf, and people are looking for darker aesthetics because this preppy high school or private school art direction, and the tone is the same. It's high school fun times, high school fun times tone doesn't really resonate with the current audience, I think. And this is just coming from a guy who has played video games my whole life, and it was my hobby. And one day I hope to get into video games, but that's not today, and it's not in the foreseeable future. But I will get there eventually. I have a lot of learning to do. Okay, so that was one thing. That's number one. And number two is, it says in the, what is it, the fourth paragraph, kind of, everyone I knew who had a connection to the team or project had the same positive sentiments, and added that unbiased internal pre-reveal feedback was quite positive, and when it was negative, it was constructive. This number 2 point just reveals to me that they aren't asking the right questions. They're asking the wrong questions. Let me redo this. Jesus Christ, this is terrible. Okay, questions. Let's just put an X in questions, or just Q's. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna redo this part here. Let's just go back a little bit here. Yeah, they're asking the wrong questions. If everything was positive, and if they watched the trailer and played this game, and they saw the way it was, and then they gave it to other people, and those people said it was they had a positive experience with it, they're asking the wrong questions, or they're asking the wrong audience. They're asking an audience that probably it's probably a mix of both of these. They're probably asking the wrong questions and the wrong audience. So, because lots of game developers these days tend to stick to a bubble. They want to stay inside this little bubble with all of their little buddies, and they don't want to leave it. And everything is super positive. And even when it's not very positive, they don't take action to go outside of their baseline. And their baseline is usually very PC. It's very socially acceptable. They don't go outside of this baseline, this box. Really, they put themselves in this PC box, and they will not leave it because they don't believe there's anything substantial outside of it. They think it's all evil outside of this box, so they will not leave it, and they will just baseline PC, soft modern. They are aiming for soft modern, and they do not want anything else. That's kind of what they're doing. Yeah, so to fix this, they need to ask questions. They don't need to don't ask those questions that are like, what's your experience? So, what's your experience in this one whatever feature or like something about the game? They'll ask on a scale of 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This isn't going to give you the answer that you want. It's either this, or they'll ask an open-ended question, or they'll ask something specific about something of the game, but they will never ask directly. And they want, like, what you want is a direct answer to, like, is the tone of this game too light, too dark, in your opinion, and only your opinion. One thing that happened when Steam Greenlight was a thing is that people tend to, on the internet especially, or if you're like doing an online questionnaire or something, they answer questions. What people will largely do is they will answer questions for other people, or as other people, or in the shoes of other people. What they'll do is they'll be like, well, I don't really like this game personally, but I know there are other people out there who do. So, because there are other people, this fantasy other people, there are others out there who I can imagine in my head that would like this game. I'm going to give it a positive feedback, even if I don't personally like it. I will give it positive feedback in a bubble because I believe, or I can imagine, there are other people out there who will like this game. And I do not want this game to fail. Well, not really fail. They don't want this game to give up prematurely, I guess. They want it to see it come out, but they want to see it come out for an imaginary other person that they imagine in their head, because they don't actually answer these survey questions as themselves or for themselves. You have to make sure, like, you have to take this into account when you're on the internet or doing anything online. It's this strange phenomenon that people they will answer or they will defend an imaginary other person that isn't actually real or might not actually be real. They put themselves in they remove themselves from the equation, and then they put somebody else in that situation and be like, this person I imagine would like this, so I'm going to give you positive feedback because I imagine this person in my head would like this, or somebody I know would like this. So it might not even be an imagined person. It might be somebody that they know that would like this, and they're answering for that person, even though you're asking for their personal opinion. And I don't know if they took that into account when they're doing these things, but should definitely be taken into account in more places because, yeah, we need to stop making games that fail on launch. Yeah. That's the big thing about this that I saw. Okay. And then let's just go back. Let's erase some of this stuff. Oh, it only goes back so far. Okay. This is not as pleasant as I had hoped. Let's just go like this here. I'm gonna clear this up and I'll talk about the next section. Okay. So the next section is the consumers put absurd amount of effort into slandering Highguard and it worked. This is actually inaccurate. And I think it's inaccurate because slandering Highguard was the path of least resistance when you look back. It was actually far easier to slander and negatively talk about Highguard than it was to defend it. Path of least resistance is what we're calling this. Because the art style and the tone is just so far removed from what gaming audiences seek. And this is this is just goes back to the whole media failing and everyone in games trying to listen to media, and the media is failing. So media is failing, they're listening to media, the game fails. It's that simple. And also, yes, the consumers just took the path of least resistance. Also, when it comes to like content creators just reflect. They're like a mirror of the audience. All they do is reflect what the audience believes, or like the audience's strongest opinion is what the content creators. Here we are. Content creators are just a mirror. They will just reflect. They will just reflect the audience. This is just audience sentiment. Let's say whatever the strongest audience sentiment is, content creators just reflect that. That's it. Yeah. So they just reflect that, and that's just how that works. They took, the audience took the path of least resistance. It was gonna get. Nobody likes that art style. Well, some people do, but like the large majority isn't looking for that sort of. There's too many games that came out like that, and it's also slightly also because it's a copy of Overwatch. They already have Overwatch, and Overwatch, yeah, they already have Overwatch 1 and 2, or just 2, whatever. I think Overwatch 1 became Overwatch 2, and then they got rid of Overwatch 1. I don't know how that all worked out, but yeah, something happened there. And yeah, so because it's already like Overwatch, they already have a game that they can go to and play. They don't need. This isn't like a groundbreak. Highguard was not a groundbreaking game. It wasn't pushing anything outside of the box, outside of any of the boxes we already have, or other gamers have. So that's another thing. And then there was another paragraph. Let's see. Oh yeah, he was talking about now many of the independent team will be forced to return to corporate industry. This is incorrect. You don't have to do game design. You can go somewhere else. It didn't really work out. I mean, that's too bad. It sucks. I know what that's like when things just don't work out. But you're not. If you're like now, people are forced to go back into corporate industry. They're putting themselves in that position. Don't put yourself in that box if you don't want to be there. Like, it's as simple as that. Go find another industry. Code, like you can do art. You can probably find some projects in art or graphic design. I know lots of companies like graphic design. If you in that sort of preppy high school art style, you could definitely do that kind of stuff. You don't have to go corporate. corporate games, and they're firing people left, right, and center anyway. You probably don't go back there. Go find something outside of your box. That's how you're going to grow. You're inside of a comfort zone, and you need to leave that comfort zone to grow. That's what I'm in the middle of. It's not a nice process, it's not a fun process, but it's worth it. It's worth it, especially if you're tired, exhausted, and depressed with your current position. Yeah, just get out there and do something else. If you're not tired of it, then you can also find other indie studios, because indie games are at the highest point they've ever been. And yeah, there's got to be people out there looking for game designers. Even if there isn't, you can always give corporate a try, but don't force yourself into this box if you don't want to be there. Go learn a trade if you don't have anything else to do. Learn a trade, get certified in, I don't know, something else, forklifts, and go do warehouse if you want. Like, there's plenty of other places you can go. You don't have to go to corporate. You can improve yourself. And yes, just learn other things. It will improve your ability to do and you can always come back to do games, and maybe you'll be better for it. You'll have more experience in other areas, and you can apply that into your game, or you can go back to corporate. You can, but it's not a forced thing. It's a choice. I'm just gonna copy and paste this into a text box because I'm not gonna write the whole thing out. Whoops. Let's just get rid of that. I would ask this question: what if the opposite of what I currently believe? I'm gonna put currently in here. What if the opposite of what I currently believe is true, and what do I ask to find that out? Because if you, all right, yeah, I would ask this question. Just to see if you get a bigger response. Trying to do the opposite, like trying to ask questions in the opposite direction of what you're currently asking. And another question that would help is this one. What am I ignoring? What am I ignoring because it makes me uncomfortable? And can I dive into this to see if it changes my outlook? Yeah, you want to expand. You don't want to contract when you're thinking about things. Or if you're looking for feedback, like if we go back to the feedback thing, you want to do these types of things to like get a broader sense of what's right and what's wrong. Because if you're only ever looking in one direction, then you're only going to get one type of response. Yeah, that's it. So basically, Highguard failed. It sucks for the developer, but it failed because they failed to read the room, and they were not asking the right questions, in my opinion. And they were probably asking the wrong audience as well. Yeah, that's basically what happened. There's a bunch of other little things that don't really matter. If it was an actually good game, other little thing, all these other, like the ad placement, false assumptions about an ad placement. Like if it was a good game, people would be out of their minds wanting to give you money to play it. But it just wasn't that hype, It wasn't that good. And that sucks. There's other games, and there will always be more games. And you can learn from this and make a better one because of it, or you can make excuses about everything outside of yourself that caused things to happen. I would personally just try to grow from this experience and push forward, making future experiences better. Try to learn what people want, not what you think people want, what they actually want. And then you'll find that you're making a better game because of it. Yeah, that's the end of the video. Like, favorite, subscribe if you want. I know that paint wasn't really a good option for me. Next time I'll do something a bit different, maybe. I just wanted to put my thoughts out there, and good day. And I hope see you next video. I wanted to add one thing at the end here that I just remembered. Overwatch Reign of Talons Season 1 began on February 10th, and Highguard released on January 6th. So the thing is that Overwatch is actually at one of the most popular, Overwatch 2 anyway, is actually at one of the most popular places it's been at since its launch, or its relaunch, or however you want to look at it. People are actually really into hero shooters. It's just this one wasn't a good one because it wasn't. It was just a clone of Overwatch, really, and that kind of sucks. But also, I think this is a canary in the coal mine for hero shooters, perhaps. I think that hero shooters are kind of like becoming or going down the same path as MMOs, in my opinion. There's going to be a bunch of people that probably disagree with me, but I think that, yeah, hero shooters are on the same path as MMOs, and they will be going down that path of, less and less people playing them, and there's only going to be a few monoliths left in the space, and the rest will be squeezed out. That's another thing that's putting pressure on games like Highguard. It's maturing into a place where there's just the monoliths, and you can try to build something to match a monolith, but most of them will fail, and that's just how it's going to go.